Today, we're going to invite two brothers who came from completely different job backgrounds. One even from selling grease to start selling on Amazon, and they both knocked it out of the park on their very first product. Combined, they are already grossing $2.5 million a year. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the Amazon and Walmart world. We've got a couple serious sellers today. Before I introduce them, this is a kind of, I don't know if I want to use the word momentous, but my first episode where I'm filming it in my new podcast studio that is being... It's not fully constructed yet, and that's why actually I got if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I've got a green screen up now because this room isn't finished. And if you recognize this is the Helium 10 tequila room from our office. It is my green screen background, and actually that is what I'm trying to recreate here at my house. So like maybe in a week or so, you'll see my new studio where it's gonna be a mimic of the office, and yes, it's gonna have tequila as well, just like our office does. So if you ever start seeing me say some crazy things on the podcast, well, I might have dipped into the 1942 a little bit. But today I just have green tea. We have a green screen and we've got green tea here, and we've got a couple brothers, not from another mother, from the same mother, I'm assuming here. We've got Andrew and Paul. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. It's going great.
And where are y'all located?
I'm in Iowa.
And I'm in Denver, Colorado, originally from Iowa as well.
Okay, excellent. So you said you're both born and raised in Iowa then?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did you guys, after graduating high school, how did both of you guys go to that Iowa State, and what was your major? What was your career path? What was your career path looking like at that time?
So yeah, I went to Iowa State, was there for 5 years. My major was mechanical engineering, and that was good. It was hard. And then got done with that and went to a job as a mechanical engineer that worked on the large wind turbines you see all over, like the big megawatt class.
Oh, so you actually, upon graduation, you got a job that had to do with your major, like so many people nowadays. That's cool.
Yep. I was able to do that for a while. And then I was there for 5 years doing mainly gearbox inspection, gearbox repair, kind of support, vibration analysis, and things like that. And then moved on. I had a few different jobs after that. I was a design engineer for a cement truck manufacturer. Then I was a manufacturing engier for a automatic
design engineer. What in the world are you designing? I mean, cement trucks have looked the same for 40 years. Like, what were you designing?
So this company was kind of cool. They actually, instead of carrying the cement in the big drum that you're used to seeing, they actually carry all the ingredients, like the sand, the Portland cement, the gravel, and they would mix it on site and then pour it out. So it was kind of a different design.
Okay, cool.
But I was only there for a year. Design engineering wasn't really for me. It was a lot of CAD work, a lot of drawings, and things. I ended up not liking that very much. And then my next job, I went to an automatic car wash machine manufacturer. So the ones that have the brushes on them, or the ones that have the wand that sprays your car down, they made all that type of stuff. So I was a manufacturing engineer for them for a couple years, and then I was the manufacturing engineering manager. Then I switched again to being a water treatment technical sales, I had a friend that was in the business, and he said it was a pretty good gig. So I started doing that, and that was pretty good.
He's bouncing around all over the place here. Maybe if you not pick such boring jobs, you would have stuck to something. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of chasing the money a little bit because I was trying to look for, something that wasn't as challenging as engineering, but would, give me more money. And then when I was at the car wash business and at the like water treatment company, I started looking into Amazon and figuring out how that all worked. And then what I was doing that full time job as water treatment along with selling on Amazon. And then eventually in October of last year is when I quit my full time job to do the Amazon full time.
Let's see if we have that same or that same question for Paul. Like, what was your major, and then hopefully you did not have 17,000 different jobs like Andrew there. We're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I jumped around a little bit, but mostly all in the same market, I guess. So I went to Iowa State as well, tried out engineering, figured out, as Andrew said, pretty boring, not for me, could not do the math, the physics. So I had fun in school, and I was a marketing major. So I graduated with a degree in marketing and basically went into sales right when I got out. So started selling for Pella windows and doors, actually, out of Kansas City. Didn't like that too much. Moved out to Denver, and I've actually been in the renewable energy and energy field for the last 16 or so years, developing public-private partnerships with public agencies, so cities, counties, state governments, etc.
Okay, and what you didn't seemingly bounce around a lot, but what I guess maybe motivated you to look at Amazon? Like, I know it was your brother, but it's not just, if somebody's 100% satisfied with their life and their job and stuff, somebody says, hey, you want to try this? You're like, nah, I'm good. But what was the feeling behind opening your mind to the possibilities of e-commerce? Were you like looking for something else, or you weren't finding satisfaction what you were doing, or what happened there?
Yeah. So I'm always pretty busy, I guess. So I have actually always had probably 2 to 3 jobs for as long as I can think, as long as I can recall back. So yeah, even though I had a really nice 9 to 5, I was always doing something more on the side. The thing I had actually the most success with was I have quite the mechanical background as well, work with my hands. So I actually used to flip muscle cars a lot. So I would flip a lot of Mopar and other Chrysler products quite frequently. And I just always had things going on the side. And then when I found out that Andrew, my brother, was selling on Amazon, I think I kind of approached it initially that how I now get responded to when I tell people oh, well, hey, that's nice. Maybe if you're lucky, you can make enough to cover a car payment or something, I guess. And at first, that's kind of how I reacted until we were at our parents. Our parents have a place in the Ozarks on the lake there, and my dad actually showed me a screenshot of what Andrew made in, I think, either like a month or 2 weeks. And I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I didn't say kidding, but yeah,
I kind of took that undertone there to extract that point. Yes.
Well, just so there's nothing up for debate. So that made me kind of reach out, and certainly we've been. He was kind of my inspiration to kind of get going here, and we've both had some pretty good success there since.
All right, so Andrew, since you were the first one to get into it, I mean, obviously, I don't have to ask you the same question that I asked your brother there, because it was obvious you were bouncing around and you were maybe struggling, finding full satisfaction with what you were doing. But how did you end up? You're the reason that your brother got into it. But how did you get into Amazon or e-commerce?
So when I was at one of my multiple jobs in the past, I started a side business where since I knew a lot about wind turbine mechanics and the gearboxes and things, I started as kind of a consultant for other companies that were doing that as well. And I would offer, I'd write reports for them or I'd do analysis for them. It was basically the same things that I used to do, but now that I was at a different job in a different industry, I never used those skills anymore. So I started doing that, and I also started selling some products. I started selling these pallets of grease to a generator refurbisher. So
Oh my goodness gracious! You went
I'm all
from
over the
designing
place.
cement trucks to selling grease.
Yeah, there are these pallets of grease that I was authorized distributor for now, and then I did that for about a year in the side business, and then the customer that I was selling it to, found a cheaper way to get them, and I was cut out of the loop, and I was like, well, I know that people sell stuff on Amazon. Like, I have this opportunity to, sell this grease at a cheap price. Is there any way I can try to sell it on Amazon or something? So that's when I started looking around, and I found, there's software out there where you could look at the listings and everything. I found Helium 10 and did the free trial so I could like look this stuff up. And I found no, I was looking up the grease and everything. I'm like, no, they're only selling like one or two units or one or two like tubes a month. I'm not really into that. But then I started just like looking at T-shirts and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, like I can't. There's no way that they're making this much money. I'm like, is this a month? This has got to be per year, not per month. Like it just blew my mind. And once that happened, like the claws were like sunk into me. Where I kept like, I'm like, this is crap, and I would leave. But then the next night I'd be like, I want to look at some other stuff, and then I started looking at some other stuff.
What year are we talking about?
This
Year in
is
the timeline.
2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'd look like the big one you could look at was like phone cases or something, and you're like, oh my god, like 1 million a month or something. It's incredible. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
You started your first thing that you sold. Was it private label, or you first got into arbitrage or wholesaling, or what did
So
you?
it was private label. I started watching. I was bouncing around all over YouTube, watching a whole bunch of different stuff, and my biggest thing was I didn't fully trust anyone, because I'm like, this is all like clickbait or something, right? Like there's no way people are actually making this money. But I found I kept coming back to like Helium 10 and like Tim Jordan and like Kevin King, like you guys were always kind of seemed like it always made sense. And then listening to the podcast and hearing other people's stories, I'm like, I don't think these people are like making this up. Like that doesn't make sense. So I kind of just like chose a product and started something, and it started once I started selling, it started selling way like better than I even thought. And I was just always for the whole.
How did you find that first product? Was it random, or did you do it in black box, or how did you find it?
Yeah, black box. Yeah.
Okay, and so you got on it right away. How much did you invest in that first product?
I thought I was only going to invest like $3,000. It was like for one pallet of this product. And as soon as I got it there, and as soon as I got it into Amazon, it started selling. On like the second day, I sold more than I thought I was going to per day. Like like for the next 3 months or something. So I'm like, no way, I'm gonna have to order. I need to order like 4 more pallets like today. Like right now.
From China?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was able to get those there, but even before those showed up, I was like, I need even more. I started like kind of planning it out, and I'm like, I need a 20-foot container full of this. So it kind of like where I thought was going to be $3,000 ended up being a lot more money to kind of play catch up in order to keep this thing in stock. So I kind of
then at the point where your brother was profanely noting how much money you were making, how many months into your Amazon journey were you, and what were you grossing per month at that time, roughly? I know we're talking about a couple years ago, but
I would have been about 6 months into it. 6 or 7 months into selling, and I was just getting like 40-foot containers sent, like some of the first times that I was doing that. And I think I was making maybe 50 to 100K in revenue a month.
Okay.
Like
For one product?
for one product.
Nice. Okay. So after how long that you started selling on Amazon, did you quit your day job, or had you already just quit and you went all in on Amazon?
So I started selling in November 2019, and then October of 2021. So this last October is when I quit. So I stayed full time for a couple years, just because like the money was great, but I was like, I don't know, I could lose my account or something. I just, I didn't want to like risk anything until, I built up. It actually, it actually was pretty hard to decide when I wanted to do this, because kind of letting go of a sure thing. And like my water treatment job was a really good job. So like letting go of a really good job to go after this was pretty tough. But
So now, Paul, I guess we're talking about the middle of 2020 or something, when you first, figured out what your brother was doing. Did you just like say, all right, I'm in, where do I start, or how did that happen?
Yeah, for the most part, we started having conversations about how everything works. I got a Helium 10 account myself. I'm actually branded up today. I don't know if you can tell it. You can tell or not, Bradley.
Nice.
So figured I'd give you a shout out there. And then started doing a lot of my own research. Found a product that I thought was kind of a no brainer, I guess. And I launched in the about the middle to end of February of 2020 is when I, no, I'm sorry, 2021 is when I launched. So I did research and background. I was private label as well. Everything I do is private label. And I probably started researching things in around, August or so of 2020.
Now, did you keep up your day job throughout this time, or are you now doing full-time Amazon, or what's happening there?
No, I still have my day job.
Okay.
I still have my day job. I've got 3 small kids. So for me, it's up at 6 a.m., usually working till about 10, 11 o'clock, just about every single night. I have to put the kids down, and really trying to. I'm really in a growth stage right now, so I'm really trying to grow my business. But yeah, I still have my job. I'm working to replace my income, but it's a pretty comfortable income. So I'm hoping here in the next few months I'll have that ability to resign from my current position if I so choose.
Okay. Now, I know you didn't have a full year in 2021, but what did you end your year in gross sales?
I had a single product for the majority of 2021, and my sales were around about $840,000 in revenue. So,
okay, and were you able to turn a profit? Sometimes newer sellers they do experiments in PPC and end up losing a lot of money, but at that amount, I'm assuming you were able to turn some kind of profit.
Yeah, turned a really good profit actually. Did really well. It's the thing that I'm in is pretty seasonal actually. So I mean, May through June is kind of gangbusters, but then after that, it really adapts that bell curve, I guess. So, but no, when I was selling, I was either Amazon's choice for majority of all the all the relevant keywords, bestseller. So it took off really really well, and I think that's a combination of. I got my brother who's the engineer, who's very, I think we're both analytical, but he's definitely more analytical than I am. And then I think I kind of bring more of the marketing side to it, where really, branding and just getting yourself out there and showing your product as well as you can. That's really what I enjoy, I guess.
So do you remember how you found your first product? Like if you use black box, Helium 10 black box, like, do you remember like what, like what kind of thing you were searching for, what kind of filters you use, or what method did you use to find that product?
Yeah, so I did use black box. I'm trying to remember the type of filters that I used initially. I think I really just copied what you and Tim Jordan had been doing on Freedom Ticket, if I'm not mistaken. So very very similar, different ratings, review filters, etc. I think search volume of 2,500 at least, if not higher. And the product that I actually found was a Amazon product that Amazon was selling directly, but just wasn't taking full advantage of.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a great interesting point, because so many people out there are like, as soon as they see that shipped and sold by Amazon thing, like, oh, I'm running for the hills. I don't want to compete with Amazon. But sometimes, like you said, Amazon doesn't know what they're doing. As far you think that they'd be the best at it, but they have bad images or a listing that's not optimized and things like that. So at the time, was it just this one Amazon product that was dominating most of the sales, or was it spread out a little bit among some other sellers, or what do you see?
Oh, there were still quite a few sellers that were there. But yes, I was probably I was the highest ranked in the category for quite a few months. So that kind of spawned me to look at some other variations or one-offs of that same product. So was working on that, and kind of, I guess, what I see as the off season, which is really kind of the later Q3 and Q4, and I'm getting ready to launch quite a few more SKUs here this year. That's really dominating a lot of my time.
Okay. Now, Andrew, you're a little over a couple years into your Amazon journey. What did you end your gross sales at in 2021?
2021, I was about 1.6 million globally. I mainly just sell in the U.S., but I do the remote fulfillment, to Canada, Mexico. But
and how many SKUs is that that figure representing?
That's on 14.
14 SKUs. Okay.
Yep.
So, are they all in the same brand, or have you launched different brands?
They're all the same brand. I'm starting to get, I do have another account, and I'm starting to get kind of another brand and another thing going there. But for the existing all of 2021, it was the same brand, same category.
Now, you came in at a time where now all of a sudden, people were thinking about eventually selling their business, and aggregators were like Thrasio were coming around. A lot of people, started in 2018. You say the word aggregator, they would have no idea what the heck you're talking about. But has that ever crossed your mind? Like, was there ever a point where you're like, you know what, I want to build this business up and maybe sell it? Or have you just been like, I just want to build this thing into something special and kind of keep it for forever?
So it's funny. I just, when I was starting all this stuff, it was before you guys had Project X, and it was before, I think, even Freedom Ticket 2.0. It was like right when that was coming out or something. So it was funny, because as I was just getting started and just like launching all this stuff, I was watching everything being like, I wish I knew this. I would have done this, completely differently. Right. But ever since then, after watching a lot of stuff that, Kevin King has said, and what you guys have said, I've moved my company to where I'm going to dress it up, maybe to sell, but I don't have any plans to do it right now. And that's kind of what Kevin King would say. It's like, build it to sell, even if you do, if you don't, or if you do, then that's great. But I would say it kind of depends. If I get a second account going and I get some good products going there, maybe I'd look to sell the first one.
Overall, of that 1.6 million, have you calculated, like you take away, PPC costs and cost of goods sold and any other overhead you have, about how much % profit you were able to clear?
I think it's going to be 20-25%. It's going to be somewhere around there.
Now, what's some of your strategies? You said for your very first product, you used black box, and then you're able to find something where there was some opportunity that seemed like for you. But what's been your strategy about expanding your brand? Like these 16 products, all the same brand. So are you just like taking some main keywords from your first product, and then just seeing if there is any high demand things that would go along with that same brand, or what's been your strategy to go from 1 to 16 in the last 2 years as far as SKUs go?
Sure. I can't tell you all my secrets.
You can, see, that's why, I want to have people come to my office to record these podcasts in person and get the tequila flowing. And then, then everybody's willing to spill their secrets a little bit more. But yeah, you don't have to give us all the secrets, but share some of the wealth there.
I'm just lacking the tequila is all, Bradley.
Yeah.
I mean, you shared it all with your brother, obviously. I mean, and actually his growth trajectory might be a little bit faster than yours. So maybe you're regretting giving him all your secrets, but what can you share with us?
Sure. So yeah, I sort of looked for a lot of the things that would fit with my brand. So at first I was just trying to sell product. I was just trying to make money, just trying to sell product. And then once I found out that this was actually going to be successful, I'm like, okay, how can I build a brand out of this? How can I, gather similar products that, if someone came to my Amazon store or my Amazon listing and they were going to buy this, what else were they going to buy, or what else could they buy? So just kind of group it together like that. And that's kind of where I started. And that's what I'm still doing right now. It's funny in this business, like you have an idea but it takes so long to implement it. Like the things that I'm implementing right now are ideas I had like a year ago. Just because you have to wait for money to be available, or you have to run business cases and figure out if it's worth it, type of deal. But that's kind of
you mean like something that a new product you're launching now, you originally found or originally had that idea like a year ago?
Yeah. So like
why didn't it, sometimes, I mean, in an Amazon world, that's like an eternity, like something is trending.
Yeah.
And then boom, like, before you even have the product ordered, even if you order right then, already like 17, competitors have jumped on. So what's different about how you're finding these products that even a year later, they still are opportunities?
Sure. I don't know. I just, a lot of the competitors that I have, or a lot of the way that I learned how to do it is I'm not selling products that are necessarily hot trends or anything. A lot of my products are pretty boring, and so they're not really going anywhere. And the people who sell them, mainly it's Amazon who's selling them.
You too are selling, so are competing with Amazon directly, huh?
Yeah. Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon kind of sucks at building their own listings. So every time I see, a product and it's sold by Amazon, and I look at it, and there's, I look for how many pictures do they have. It's kind of all the regular stuff, but like how many pictures do they have? What's in their bullet points? What's the title like? Things like that, and then you look at the revenue, and I'm like, hey, I can compete with this. And lately it's been, I find stuff that's similar to the products I sell in my brand right now. And I go and I look at those, and some of them aren't necessarily like home runs. Like some of them are not going to be as successful as, I have about 2 SKUs that make up probably 50% of my revenue. So like those are great, but then I'm just going to keep adding on these smaller ones that'll help, build up and make the brand a little better. That carries all similar products. So hopefully if someone comes to my store, they can buy, all the things that they would need to do the project that they're looking for, or, something like that.
Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go, you guys know here in the show, if you listen, that we have something we call the TST 30-second tips, but instead of just one each, we're going to have some sibling rivalry here, where you guys are going to, be pitted against each other and give your own 30-second tips back and forth. And now what the kind of thing I'm looking for is again, giving away some of your secrets, but nobody knows your product. So it's not like somebody's going to go in and take your market share or anything, but I'd like to know some of either the basic or complex things that you guys think that you're doing that is maybe somewhat unique. Like don't give me a 30-second tip of, I go and negative match keywords that are costing me over 100% ACOS. Everybody does, basic things like that. But some of the unique things, like for example, you've already kind of inadvertently given us a tip. Both of you have found great success in competing directly with Amazon, which is, in my opinion, it's not like completely unique, but I would say a good 90% of the Amazon sellers would probably say, no, I don't want to compete with Amazon. So that right there is unique. So things like that, like, are you guys doing something with influencers? Do you have some kind of, strange launch technique or way to get reviews or way to use inserts? So just, as the other person is talking, make sure you're planning for your next one, and then maybe or maybe not, I'll declare a winner, at the end here for the a bottle of tequila or something, since we've been on that subject. So Andrew, you were first on Amazon, so why don't you start us off here with your tss?
Oh man! All right. Well, I would say one of the biggest something that almost got me in trouble was not watching my cash flow at the beginning and not keeping track of in the future what I'm going to have to spend for supplier payments or credit card payments and kind of all that stuff. So I would say it is very, very important to plan like your year out in a spreadsheet or whatever you want to do, 12 to 18 months out, because not only do you have to plan as a business owner, you basically kind of keep track of money. So not only do you have to plan for that year, but then you have to plan for tax season for the following year. That's sort of what you're planning for. And at first I did not do that, where I thought I was going to spend $3,000 to launch my product. It actually, if I would have kept track of the forecast of what I thought I was going to sell, like I ended up being 60K deep before I actually started to stop losing money. So I always kind of preach that as one of the first things you should do to keep yourself out of trouble.
Okay, all right, good. So first tip is, plan. Don't just plan ahead for a month, but try and fast forward to like 6 months or a year. Okay, I like it. Paul, your turn.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of the things that you had mentioned, inserts, I don't do any inserts using influencers. I don't do that either. I think those are some great strategies. I've just not gotten to the point personally where I've done them. My advice would be, as a dad with 3 young kids, 9 to 5, and some rentals that I actually own and manage myself as well, is just my advice is hard work and perseverance. Just do not give up. You are going to get challenged. You are going to find things that are going to be thrown in your way, and just keep working. And that's kind of maybe how we were brought up, was that hard work will pay off. You will get there. And so that is one thing that I would say. The other thing that I would add is just, thinking about what it is that the customer is looking for in that product, in that listing, looking to make those relevant within your listing itself. Again, I'm kind of a marketing major, so that's kind of how I look at, is just beating everyone else that's out there from your listing standpoint. And yeah, I guess that's all I got for now.
All right, back to you, Andrew. What's your next one?
So I know you're talking about negative keywords with PPC. Everyone does that, blah, blah, blah. But I do think there's some keywords that people shy away from, and I do kind of have a strategy for finding some good ones. A lot of people are kind of scared of the negative phrase keywords. And one of the things I've started doing with the Helium 10 tools is, if you use Atomic, they will give you, there's 2 years of the search terms that, you've had, stored in there. You can download the last 2 years of search terms. And so I do that. I download the last 2 years of search terms. I take that whole list and I put it in Frankenstein. So you break it down into individual words. And then you take those individual words, you put it into Excel, and you got to do a little Excel magic, but you can actually search through all the search terms and have it sum up all the sales for each word. So say, you have a random word like orange or something. You can look up how many how many sales you got on orange, and say you look through the last 2 years and there's no sales for orange, then that means, okay, you can make a negative phrase out of this, and you have 2 years worth of data to back this up. So you're safely making these things. And I think that's better than the exact keywords, than the exact negatives, because it can be in any different phrase. So you just save yourself a bunch of money in the future.
All right. I like it. Paul, you got another one for us?
I think so. And I think I've actually heard where people advise against this. So I would say certainly take this as caution. But I mean, I think as we were all challenged with the supply chain issues, one of the things that I was running into when I was trying to import and I get my products from China is just I would constantly get bumped. I would purchase my shipping through Freightos, and my container just wouldn't make it on there. Others would either pay more or have other relationships that got their container on, and when mine did not. And so one thing that I actually started doing is actually using my manufacturer's freight forwarder and buying the shipping through my manufacturer. And then put that onus on my manufacturer to make sure that my container made it onto the ship. It caveated the fact that you would then have to, work to do a lot more of the customs work and the fees once it got into port. But I was able to find that if I actually used my manufacturer's freight forwarder or shipping agent over there, I would a lot of times get priority because they ship more products than I ever do.
Okay, makes sense. I like it. Andrew, since you've been around a little bit longer, we're going to give you one bonus round here. Since theoretically speaking, you should be, at least 30, 40% more knowledgeable than your brother here. So do you have a bonus tip for us today?
When I first started, shipping containers were like $3,000 each, right? It was awesome. I really hope
the good old days.
Oh yeah. But now when they started getting to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, one of the strategies I was thinking is like, okay, I have a product that the product I have is heavy. So it actually only fills the container 25%. So 75% of my container was empty. So I was also thinking, okay, how can I come up with a product that fits in my brand that also is really light? So I could take 10% of my product out and then fill the actual whole rest of the container up. And there's some software out there that can do that can help you configure that. But that's one way that I'm saving money. Like basically I'm saving money by being able to ship the really light product for free, because my original product is paying for 90% of the shipping cost. So I'm hoping I'm shipping some stuff with it right now, and everything looks good on paper. So I'm hoping it works well.
Now, Andrew, you, if I'm not mistaken, are you a Helium 10 Elite member? Is there like one strategy that, you heard maybe in one of the monthly workshops or one of our quarterly ones that kind of like really had a notice? I mean, every time we go to a webinar or something where I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Like I never knew about that. But is there one that you actually implemented and did have good results that you can think of?
Oh, trying to think. There's so many of them that are there. It's actually it's hard to implement them all. Like I'm trying to do better with actually using them. I would say I've heard there's a lot of people talk about VAs and some good places to go to get VAs. Some of your like podcasts lately have been about VAs, and that's something where I think I'm getting to the point where if I want to keep growing without making myself miserable, I need to start getting more VAs or getting some VAs. And I've heard, one of the people were telling me, like, even if you don't necessarily need them, like just practice, like just practice with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Especially once you get up to a certain level, even if Amazon's your full-time thing, you just can't handle every single aspect of your business, by yourself. And so, yeah, definitely going for VAs is something that is recommended for all to help lessen the load. Now, rest of this year, Andrew and Paul, what are some of your goals? Like, hey, I plan to scale to X in gross sales. I plan to increase my gross profit. I plan to launch X number of SKUs. Like, well, what are some of the goals? Since we're in the beginning of this year, kind of, if I bring you guys back like next year, March or something like that, what would you like to be able to tell everybody on what you've done in the rest of this year?
So for my first brand or my first account, it'd be great if I could grow revenue to 3 million. That would be good. And then I'd like to be able to get my other account going and, get some sales going for that. I don't necessarily know what I could make on that side, but just having that going and having products started would be great.
Yeah. So as you recall, last year I finished out around 800K in revenue with a single product. This year I'm going kind of whole hog here. I think I'll be right around about 400 SKUs, and my revenue estimates are between 3.2 to 3.6 million, being conservative. So, and I'm hoping that I can.
So in other words, you're just kind of politely saying, I'm fitting to crush my brother this year in sales. But notice how
like, I'm good.
diplomatic he was. I love it.
It's like being back in the basement and we're wrestling all over again.
Yeah,
there we go. All right, well, guys, it was great to have you bring your cyclone of knowledge to see what I did there.
Right.
And it's really great to see people just like regular dudes from the Midwest who are now having success on Amazon from their very first product. That's what we want to get across on the show, is that you don't have to be some kind of like e-commerce superstar. You can go from freaking selling grease to doing 7 figures on Amazon, and anybody can do it out there. So guys, take these two brothers here from as an example of, if you're one of those people who've just been kind of like waiting to get on Amazon or not feeling confident. Andrew started with initial investment of $3,000 or so, and look what he scaled up to in a couple of years. And Paul, grossed almost 7 figures just on his very first product. So this isn't guaranteed. It's not like everybody out there can all have the same exact success, but hopefully this has been an inspiration. And then, yes, we definitely will want to reach out to you guys next year, 2023, to see how you're doing. I'm sure I'll be seeing you this year at the Prosper Show, maybe, or for sure at our Sell and Scale Summit, which will be in September in Vegas, and it would be great to see how you guys have progressed so far. Maybe your brother's going to catch you by September of this year. We'll see. All right. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you guys later.
All right.
Thanks so much, Bradley.